Monsters in gaming. That is what we are talking about today, okay? You ever play a scary video game? I'm going to assume so because my scary audience over here, brother, they go hungry very quickly. I got to feed you guys once a week, and I am glad to because I've been feeling a real spooky mood as of late, okay? Lately, I've been playing through the Resident Evil games because I've been getting kind of hyped for Resident Evil Requiem, and I want to play 2, 3, and 4 for the first time doing the remasters, okay? And I'm going to keep it real here, bro. Resident Evil 7 is the scariest one. But when I tell you that I am actually quivering in my boots, okay? When Nemesis from Resident Evil 3 is running me down like... I don't even know, bro, okay? He's running me down, about to give me absolute horrific level head trauma by running up and hitting me with a Superman punch back of the dome, okay? That is one of the scariest things I have ever had to deal with while playing a video game, and that got me thinking, man. That got me thinking. What other monsters in games have actually scared me? And then I went farther with it. There are monsters in other games that have legitimately scared me, some monsters that are actually from horror games. And then I went down the rabbit hole, okay? Some of the scariest monsters in gaming, okay? Whether it's something as menial as Cod Zombies, to the Volatile of Dying Light 1 and 2, and probably 3 if we're being honest, to Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. I'm going to be putting them all in a tier list and ranking them on just how much they scared me personally, okay? That is going to be the video, and if that sounds entertaining to you, please consider like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 250,000 subscribers before the end of the year. That is the goal, and if we can hit that, let's try to hit 500,000 subscribers before the release of GTA 6, okay? Hit the bell icon to stay notified. We try to do at least 3 videos. I think we're going to get 5 videos out this week. I think that's the goal. We're going pretty hard right now, and your support means the world to me. And with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. Let's go. The Volatile from Dying Light. Let me tell you something, bro, okay? People that want to say that Dying Light's not a horror game, that's not the point, bro, okay? Volatiles at night in Dying Light are legitimately some of the most well-crafted, like, depictions of a predator hunting you down in a video game I have seen, okay? You're thinking you're taking out, like, these Walking Dead walker zombies, and then you're getting ran down by a Volatile moving at the pace of Usain Bolt as he's coming for that booty, okay? He is running up on you and he is tackling you and it is over. And let me tell you something right now, okay? Some people are going to say, oh, well, the multiplayer version of it was even scarier. There's something about the idea that the moment I get found out by one of these things, I'm getting ran down by him and all of his homies. And I'll say this right now. The Volatile zombie idea is probably one of my favorite of all time. I've been glazing this for the longest time. The truth is I think the Volatile is... It would be the zombie that I would pick that would actually be able to take us out. And zombie that is able to strategize better ways of hunting us down and treating us more as prey and less of something to work against like an obstacle. We are just food to it. And I like that the virus is like trying to evolve. And one of the ways that it's making it easier to spread is it's actually making one of the things that it infected better at infecting people by giving it increased testosterone, increased adrenaline. It feels less pain. It moves fast. I really like that. It is you, but superior, but way more savage. When I'm looking at the Volatile from Dying Light, I remember, bro, this is a core memory. I remember I had to try to convince my mom to get Dying Light for me because I was not old enough to do it. I think I was like 14, 15 at the time. Wait, if it came out in 2014, I would be 12. Yeah, I was pretty young. Okay, I was trying to get it, and so I couldn't get it because my mom was a good mother. Thank you. And I had to experience the entire game watching it through the Rad Brad, and I remember treating nighttime where the Volatiles were coming out as an actual horror movie, okay? And I'm sorry, dude, that's a core memory that I can't lose. I'm putting the Volatile, honestly, I think that's a solid middle-of-the-road scary, okay? Is it terrifying? No, it kind of loses its appeal, and I kind of nerd out whenever I see him now. I can move it up to terrifying later, but as of right now, I think it is a fair middle-of-the-road scary. I think that's valid. Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. Okay, since we're out of the first minute, I can use different wording. Brother, let me tell you something right now, okay? When I'm playing Resident Evil 3, playing as Jill Valentine, and I'm running through that plaza, and I receive the most mightiest of backshots that would be rivaled by the booty warrior from prison, where he's running me down, and the last thing that I hear before I get absolutely, like, Superman punched, thunder thumped into the pavement down below is boom, 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 boom. This back of the head. I'm no longer with us. I'm exiting to the lobby. And then, okay. Oh, it's so good I can use that green herb. I actually have a little bit more health. What do you mean he has a combo? Oh, you thought that Superman punch? Superman punch, uppercut, yeets me up 3 feet in the air, and Jill Valentine gets laid out like a World Star video. Dude, that is... oh my... there's one point in the game. I died 16 times, okay? I actually had to... I almost did the assisted mode for this. Because I had to run... some people are going to remember this. I had to run from Star Station to the railway. This is like in the first quarter of the game. And I didn't have any green herbs, so I'm literally one-shot the entire time. And when I tell you, that made the Nemesis the most terrifying thing there ever was. Oh my goodness, bro. I was quivering in my boots as I'm walking out, seeing this unskippable... actually, it is a skippable cutscene. Seeing this cutscene, and I'm looking... the Nemesis is looking at me like, bro, I'm about to beat your ass, dude. Okay, I get away, and then he can teleport! That's another thing, bro. The Nemesis is the scariest one. The reason why Nemesis is so remembered as a terrifying motherfucker is this guy wasn't just fast, he wasn't just powerful, but he was not that he could teleport, dude. You see, if you were lucky, you got to hear a footstep. You got to hear footsteps before you were absolutely thunder-bunted into the next stratosphere of consciousness. Okay? Because what would usually happen is I'm just minding my own business and then he spawns in right in front of me like the final boss, only to literally pimp slap me into the afterlife. Dude, the Nemesis... okay, you know what? I'm gonna correct the mic really quick, okay? There were multiple times, knowing who the Nemesis was before even playing the game, that I was going through, that I actively screamed out, "What is that?" That was my reaction to the Nemesis. I'm sorry, bro. Is he the scariest thing? Actually, yeah. At certain times, bro, Nemesis pulls up, and I'm trying to remember what, Professor, I think his name was, Professor X? Was he? No, like, the guy in the trench coat from Resident Evil 2. Okay, whenever he pulled up, I was like, oh, no. When Nemesis pulled up, okay, and I am one shot after literally unloading on all of the other fodder around me, okay? And then this guy pulls up, I would actively say, "Are you kidding?" And then bro would proceed to one-tap me, okay? I'm sorry, dude. What is that is the only good response. I'm putting them right there. Necromorphs. Dude, I have so many horror games to replay, dude. I got Resident Evil that I have to completely play through. And then we got Dead Space that I want to play through. Dude, man, well, I could stream that. If you guys would be interested in, a live stream of me going through these horror games, put in the comment section down below or go in the Discord. But, yeah, bro, I got a lot to get through. The thing is, bro, I think the design of the Necromorphs, I legitimately don't think you can top that. Let me tell you something right now. I don't buy for a second that the reason that we never got, any more Necromorph, type of enemies outside of a few is because they actively knew that there was no way that you could top that. Okay, Necromorphs are... I've said this multiple times. I glaze the Necromorphs all the time. I like the idea that the Necromorphs were like this... It is the solution to the Fermi paradox because the idea is that there is a marker that was sent to Earth and guided humans to their final evolution where they would ascend to the stars only to be taken by these Necromorphs and turned into a brethren moon where they can then begin the cycle once more, okay? Dead space is the answer to the Fermi paradox because the reason that there's no life in space is because space is dead. Oh. I'm sorry, bro. I do like that part of Dead Space. I like the cosmic horror. Cosmic horror in video games. I saw one where it was dude arguing, where's all the cosmic horror in video games now? And this dude tried to pretend like it was a gotcha because he was like, oh, play Dead Space. When was the last time we got a new Dead Space game that wasn't a remake? When was the last time we got one of those? Yeah, no, they don't do cosmic horror anymore. That's not something that really gets done all that much, okay? And I'm sorry, bro. The Necromorphs off design alone, I actively said multiple times, what is that? Actually, you know what? I'm going to put Nemesis down. Nemesis down, okay? Hopefully the editor catches that. I'm going to put it in terrifying. I think that's valid. The Stalkers from Last of Us. There's another enemy Stalker that we're going to be covering in this video, and I'm going to have to put Lao right underneath this. Yeah. So, okay, when I'm looking at the Stalkers from Last of Us Part 2, okay? The clickers didn't scare me all that much, okay? Clickers terrified me as a kid. But understand this, as an adult, I was terrified of the Stalkers. You want to know why? Because you would be minding your own business, sneaking your way through this entire thing, okay? You see a clicker, he's walking there. And then you would have a brute over there, that's your tank. And I, as Ellie, would be coasting, bro. I am sneaking, I'm using my sense, I'm sensing them, all that. And then I would receive a pimp slap from a stalker that was stalking me the entire time I was stalking them. And he alerts literally everybody else. And then this one guy is the reason where it went from a good time to a bad time. Okay? Stalkers actively terrified me as I was playing the final third of the game. Because I realized that, like, the one thing that kept the game, like, not scary was the fact that I was more stealthy than everybody else. And then this one enemy came in and was like, brother, you thought. And then he would come at me, slap me, and then run away, okay? And the fact, they're so good at hiding, too. Like, that's another thing, bro. They would come up, hit you one time, and then you just wouldn't find them. And you'd be like, okay, I know he's here. I know he's here. It wasn't the wind. I'm not like some guard from Whiterun. It must have been the wind. No, the wind left a mark. Okay, I'm sorry, bro. When I'm looking at the Stalkers from The Last of Us, bro, they was pretty spooky. They were scary. They were scary. Not spooky, but scary. I'm gonna put them right there. I think that's valid. Marge Baker from Resident Evil 7, bro. I call her Bug Coochie. Okay, you wanna know why I call her Bug Coochie? Because you know why, okay? Listen, man, okay? Whoever was in charge of designing Margaret Baker, his name is either Elias Withero, because that guy's also disturbed in a good way, or this man had some deep-seated hatred against his mother and grandmother. Because who did that to you? Who made you design that? I am convinced that, like, whoever designed Margaret Baker sewed that off to his boss, and this man, like, threw up a little bit in his mouth, and took the bile from the back of his throat, put it on his hand, and threw it at, like, the character design. And then they were like, now that! I want the players to feel that when they look at her! And, brother, you did the same thing, dude. Margaret Baker, dude. Like, the only times where she's not scary, and she gives off, like, that thing, and it doesn't help that she's, like, an invincible enemy for most of her portion of the game, and there's literally nothing that you can do because she's literally sending flies at you, and she is basically the Blair Witch from the Blair Witch Project. In her final boss fight, even though you're significantly more armed than you were before, it is still terrifying because of just how gross she looks. Like, I was laughing because of how grotesque she looks, okay? I'm sorry, dude. When I'm looking at Margaret Baker, I gotta put Margaret Baker, honestly. Margaret Baker was terrifying, dude. Now, was it as bad as Nemesis? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, okay? Because Nemesis was giving you the backsop from hell. Margaret Baker was making you want to be celibate. Okay, I'm gonna go terrifying. I think that's valid. Freddy Fazbear from FNAF. Okay, you know what? This is not a hot take. If you're gonna tell me that this is a hot take, you did not experience the same childhood that I did. Freddy Fazbear is not terrifying. It is literally jump scare to the game, and we like it because Matt Pat made the lore fun to understand. Understand this, bro. FNAF is one of the most misunderstood games because, oh, hot take here. The community around FNAF is better than the game. I said it. Yeah, no. The community around FNAF is a more enjoyable people to be around than the actual game. Hot take, bro. Crucify me later, okay? I'm sorry. That is my take when it comes to this. Because, I'm sorry, dude, the FNAF games commit literally every cardinal sin of game design. Very little innovation is being done from game to game outside of the newest ones, which are admittedly very innovative. And the story is admittedly very hard to explain to people, which is why Matt Pat... I want you to think about this, bro. Matt Pat was able to build a career and used the platform of FNAF to launch it. And then it launched one of the pettiest beefs I've ever seen because the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's would actively change the lore so Matt Pat wouldn't get it right. And that's both one of the pettiest and smartest things I've ever heard. Because I want you to think about all the farming of, like, intrigue that the creator of FNAF was doing, where he was literally waiting for Matt Pat to release a video so he could release a video game. But the community around FNAF is better than the video game. I love the community around it. I'll talk about FNAF eventually. I will do a FNAF video eventually. But at the same time, bro, I'm doing a FNAF video not because I love Five Nights at Freddy's, but because I love the community around these games, okay? That is how I look at it. Freddy Fazbear is not that scary. It's literally boo. Boo! And then you jump. It's literally all jump scares. I'll say this, Freddy Fazbear, there's a few spooky parts. But I'm sorry, Freddy Fazbear, he's boo scary. He's just boo scary. He jump scares you. That's about it. And I don't think anyone's gonna disagree with that. The Wendigo from Until Dawn. Okay, I need to rant really quick, brother. There's an are they still making that Until Dawn movie? I know there was an did it already come out and then they just buried it? Brother, there was an Until Dawn movie coming out, and they didn't want to actually cover the story of Until Dawn because they realized halfway through that it's kind of silly to make a movie adaptation of a game where the game was meant to be a movie. So you literally did movie, game, movie, and the movie is going to be no way better than the game because the game was meant to be a better movie. I want you to think about that, okay? That's like making a VHS into a DVD and then trying to adapt the DVD into a fucking cassette player. Like, that's essentially what you just did, bro. No. It's a VHS... No, I'm sorry, I can't top that analogy. I just can't. That's literally how I feel about it. And they had to change the story because nobody actually gave a shit about it. And then we're getting... Bro, I'm sorry, bro. Until Dawn, I really liked Until Dawn. This is another one where I enjoyed a lot of it through, like, the Rad Brad and Markiplier. But when I finally got to play it, dude, I still loved it. I like Native American mythology. Native American mythology is super fun. It's one of the best interpretations, one of the most faithful interpretations of the Wendigo, because a lot of people mistake the Wendigo and the Skinwalker. They conflate the two things, even though they are two very different things that kind of overlap culturally. But the Wendigo, I think the adaptation of the Wendigo in the Until Dawn games is very well done. Okay, I have to give it that respect. But when I'm looking at the Until Dawn Wendigo and how much it scared me, it was scary. I'll put it in scary. Is it that high? No, but it was scary, dude. I think it's the fact that you're very powerless in this game. I think that's kind of lends to it, but I'm going to put it in scary. The Flood from Halo. This is what I mean. Halo is not a horror game. The Flood made it one. But I am going to say this right now. People do kind of overblow, like, how scary The Flood was in these games. I'll say it right now. The scariest moment of The Flood is Halo Combat Evolved, and it is the mission that you go into originally to meet the Flood. Because at that point, there was no way that you would have known that the Flood was going to be there. And the story is so well done in introducing the Flood as a horror character that you literally could not top that ever again. Because in like Halo 2 and Halo 3, the Flood just more or less kind of became oh cool, let's do a Flood mission. And some people don't like that. That's my take on it. I think the Flood very quickly went from scary character to it's another enemy type, but the Gravemind's really cool. And then they didn't really do a ton with the Gravemind, if I'm being honest. I think the Gravemind is some wasted potential, if I'm being honest, okay? When I'm looking at the Flood, okay, when you're facing the Flood, it is spooky in Game 1. Game 2, it loses it. Like, at most, it was terrifying, but I think I'm going to put it in spooky. Overall, taking the average of all of its appearances, I'm going to put it in spooky. The Xenomorph from Alien Isolation. And before somebody says, actually, the Xenomorph is from a movie, I don't care. Alien Isolation is one of the best scary games ever made. I'm on that. Alien Isolation is one of the single best scary games ever made. I'll say that right now, bro, okay? And, bro, the real ones are going to remember as Alien Isolation PewDiePie run. The real ones are going to remember that one. But, bro, the Xenomorph's AI was so ahead of its time that, like, other games that weren't horror games would actively try to figure out how they code the Xenomorph to figure it out. I want you to think about this. Alien Isolation released in a time where Resident Evil was trying to figure out how they did it. That is how good this was, when this was based off of a lot of prime Resident Evil. And I'll say this right now. Alien Isolation was so scary, it literally inspired the director of Alien Romulus to make a movie. Burp. Okay. Yeah, no, when I'm looking at Alien Isolation, I'll be real here, bro. That was a what is that? Alien, dude, like, it wasn't even just jump scaring. His mere presence alone spooked you. It did so good. The alien from Alien Isolation, I'm putting that in Necromorph, and I would actually argue in some cases the Xenomorph is actually scarier than the Necromorph in this game, okay? Now, The actual hindering aspect of the Xenomorph in Alien Isolation is the fact that you know it's the alien from Aliens, so you know he's not necessarily invincible. I'm gonna put it in what is that? Stalkers from Helldivers 2. This is the reason why I can't put, I couldn't make Stalkers just Stalkers. Let me just tell you something right now, bro, okay? In a game where it is meant to be so turbo satire, and you are a Helldiver taking out bugs for space oil, when I tell you that it would be a good time for everybody, all the way up until one of my teammates called out, "Yo, we got a stalker nest!" Where are they? Where are they? I didn't see them. I didn't see them. The mist rolls in, and then you see like this invisible entity moving throughout the wind. Eyes up! Eyes up! And then you're like, there's another one. And then one of your buddies gets marked. Ah! And then you have to call in a new one, and then this thing's running right at you because it is unbelievably fast. So you have to resort to running and diving to basically get away from this thing. And dude, when I tell you, when I saw a stalker nest, bro, everybody else, yo, get to objective, get to objective. I am over here looking at this stalker nest like, salt the earth with them. Bro, no, those stalkers bothered me, dude. Every single time, everybody else could be doing their thing. I'm going out of my way to take care of these things, dude. I'm sorry, there will be no remnants of this, okay? It's like, oh, well, you only have to throw in a grenade. Bro, I'm calling in a 600-kilogram bomb right on top of it. And then right after that, I'm throwing a cluster right on top. And then I'm doing the 4-Earth, Super Earth salute. Because I am willing to go out to take out these things, dude. I'm sorry, man. They spooky. But oh my goodness, bro. The moment that I found out that there were stalkers, ooh. Brother, I'm sorry. I'm launching my one-man vendetta against these things. The fetus baby from Resident Evil Village. Brother, when I tell you that there was a character that just did not need to be designed, when there was a character that just did not need to be made because I don't even know if I could sew it. That's the thing, bro. I don't even know if I could actually sew it. Like, I'll have to ask. You might be seeing, like, a blurred... I don't know if you're going to see a blur or not. I'll think about it. But, like, dude, when I'm going through this manner, which was already terrifying, and I'm getting walked down by a fetus monster that wants to gobble me, and instead of the baby being inside of me, I'm inside of the baby, and this little slug baby creature's running me down, or slipping, sliding me down, only it's out, oh, bro, no. That's definitely not going to be taken out of context. Absolutely not, bro, okay? No. What is that? What is that? That was my question. Like, no, 100% that was... I wish my Aristo reaction was filmed. That, I remember saying that to a T. Yes, put it right there. Cod Zombies. Am I a bad person because in Black Ops 2... Actually, no, yeah, it was Black Ops 2, okay? I was playing it relatively young. My first Call of Duty was Call of Duty MW1 OG because that is the only... It's either that or World at War. I think I went back to play World at War. Okay, I love that game. When I was playing Call of Duty Zombies... And I knew there was, like, a fellow child that was, like, screaming. Keep in mind, I was also a child, so maybe this was... Am I a bad person for doing this? And I knew this kid was scared. I would purposely try to be like... Actually, no, this wasn't a random kid. This was my brother. Yeah, we would try to play together on, like, our PS3s. And then when I knew he was scared, I would, like, get out of it, and then I would hear him scream upstairs. It's an help! And then I'd just be gone. I just hear this. Help me! Did that make me a bad person? No, because it was done to me. Okay, it was done to me by my father. Okay, that's how you get over these fears. Did I get over it? Oh yeah, bro. Let me just tell you something right now. If I'm getting ran down by an absolute horde of zombies, okay, and they are in old directions, now I can be like, now I don't have to aim anymore. Okay, enemies surrounding us. Okay, then I don't have to worry about missing. Then I'm sorry, bro. Zombies, there's boo. Boo. They're scary when you're like a child, but I think they deserve a spot on here because a lot of people like are reporting that they were terrified of zombies as a child. So that's why I was confident telling that story. I'm not a bad person. I just had to say that. Lisa from PT. let me glaze Kojima a little bit, because I've been kind of critical of Kojima. I think Death Stranding's pretty overrated. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I think Death Stranding 2 is horrifically overrated to us. No, it's not horrifically overrated. I think it's overrated to a certain degree. It's an 8 out of 10 in my opinion. Death Stranding 1 is a 7 to an 8 out of 10. This is cemented 8 out of 10. But when I tell you that this man made a tech demo for a horror game that never released called PT, and he created one of the scariest games ever made, to the point that people, up until very recently, were not even able to emulate it, so this game was actually considered lost media. One of the most hyped scary games ever was considered lost media, and it kind of still is. It's very difficult to play it now. But dude, made by Kojima, and you play as Norman Reedus. And you're getting ran down. Dude, PT is too... I think PT will eventually get made. I'm sorry, bro. The moment Kojima or Konami run out of money and they need to make some money, and somebody has to own the PT IP, and they want to make something with it, they will have a built-in fan base, because it was a tech demo that... Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, bro. PT, Lisa, there's so much cool stuff in the code. The fact that she's supposed to stay a certain distance away from you, and the way that the world is built around you, there's always a place for her to hide and see you. And the fact that you are constantly being watched the entire time, and she's actively getting closer and closer to you, that's such a cool way to design this. That's such a cool way to design a game. I'm sorry, bro. That's terrifying. Because it's a demo, it limits it a little bit. It could have lost its luster later on, but in the demo, bro, it's terrifying. I dig it. I gotta put it right there. And there you go. Those are some of the most terrifying monsters throughout gaming, okay? And if this video was entertaining, please consider like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 250,000 subscribers before the end of the year. 500,000 subscribers before the release of GTA 6, and we are on track to do it due to the support of you guys. Subscribe, hit the bell icon to stay notified. We're trying to get at least 3 videos out a week, up to 5 videos out a week, and we're going to try to get some live streaming on the weekend. We got a whole stuff coming out. We got the Discord server down below. You don't have to pay for anything. We don't have merch. However, I'm thinking about doing some t-shirts. This is I mean, obviously, not mine, but I want to do some t-shirts for the channel. We got a few fun ones that I'm working with, and some few fan suggestions. We even got some artists in the Discord that, like, we'll have to still figure it out, because I do want you guys to at least get, like, notoriety out of it. If you guys, like, make art for, like, merch, and, like, you get it on, maybe we can put, like, a signature on payroll. There's a whole thing that we still got to figure out, but merch is going to be on the way, live streams on the way, and if you want to support the channel, again, hit the subscribe and the bell icon to stay notified. And I will see you all in the next video. Adios, guys.